Good Saturday afternoon, everyone. Suro and Disney here, and we're going to talk a little NXT and Smackdown. So, I hope everyone enjoyed Summer of Tarantino. AJ had just as much fun doing it as I'm sure you all out there had watching it and enjoying it. So, we are looking at maybe doing another one of those themed 2-month Saturday episodes in the near future, and the next topic looks like it might end up being the films of Alfred Hitchcock. But this is something that may have to be put on the back burner for a bit due to the fact that we don't have as many, well, visual aids as we need to properly do this video series. So, we're going to have to put that on the back burner for a little bit, but trust me, it will come sooner rather than later. And next month is going to be all horror movie filmed verses. So we're going to be tackling the home invasion films, and we're going to be tackling some slasher films as well. So a lot of really awesome verses still to come in the rest of the year and in the month of October. Now, like I said on the Impact video yesterday, I'm going to say it again. There is a cryptic comment for this week's verses, which actually will be up on the channel tomorrow, and that is Vigilante. So Vigilante is the cryptic comment for this week, and 1 week early, we have the cryptic comment for next week's verses will be Headlock. So wrap your heads around that, and that's going to be the comments for the next two verses. Verses is going to get awesome real quick, so let me get that hair down. It's driving me insane. So it happens when I don't wet my hair down. I kind of got that alfalfa cow-leg thing going on. I don't like it. It looks terrible. Oh well. I have 500 o'clock shadow. If you haven't noticed, this is my day off, so it's kind of like, yay, I doesn't want to do anything today, so I'm just going to sit here and let myself be entertained. So yeah, that's why the hair looks like crap. So, because we don't have a Saturday video to fall back on, I am now relegating NXT and Smackdown to Saturday. So for the next 2 Saturdays, you will get an NXT and Smackdown recap. I actually got to watch Smackdown live last night, due to the fact that, yes, we did do AJ's movie reviews, and yes, it's up available right now on Pop, and if you would like to check it out, AJ and I discussed the Chronicles of Riddick trilogy. So we talked about Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick, which we watched yesterday. And that's up. And, of course, Versus will be up tomorrow. Now, NXT and Smackdown is going to be talked about on Saturdays for the next 2 weeks, like I said. And then after that, while I am on Disney property, we will not have... Well, I can't say not for sure. I mean, I might get, have to leave the parks early one night for some reason. And I'm not quite tired enough. And I don't really want to go to Splitsville again. So I can't promise you anything, but I will try to get you guys some wrestling content while I'm at Disney as well. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Probably not very. I'm going to have to bring one of these with me. So yeah, this is how we do the notes, if you haven't guessed. And actually, the pen I use is I'm going to do a little cheap plug for see if you can see that, for the Disney Cruise Line, and I got that on my cruise on the Fantasy last December. So, can you believe it's already been almost a year since I've been on the Disney Cruise Line? It's about time to go on another one. So, I usually go right into housekeeping, and then we go into the NXT and Smackdown recap. You know, I won't bore you guys anymore with any more housekeeping. Actually, we will do one of those videos later this week. Trust me, I have a lot of things I want to talk about. And there's a lot of things to discuss right now. But before we do that, I want to go into why everyone's here, and that is talking about this week's episodes of NXT and Smackdown. So we'll start with NXT. The show started off with a tag team match. A tag team match featuring 4 of the NXT women, 2 of the NXT roster, and 2 representing the WWE roster. It's kind of funny that I'll talk about it later, so I'm going to kind of talk about it before the fact that I talk about it later, but fast forwarding through until SmackDown from Friday night. you saw the Total Divas cast get jumped by AJ Lee, Layla, Alicia Fox, and Oksana. Well, it's funny because these are the ones that end up in the match tonight. So they are teaming up against the NXT Divas, Bayley and Charlotte. I'm really sold on Bayley. I like the character she plays off really well. I like the hero worship character. I think that's pretty much what I would call her at this point. I'm still not sold on Charlotte. She's very athletic, but she's not the greatest in the ring. She's just really athletic, so I guess that'll come in time. But let's talk about the match, shall we? And before we go into that, yeah, I'm going to backpedal a little bit. Before we go into that, I will say right now, I really do not like Oksana in the ring. I think she's terrible. And Alicia Fox in the ring, I'm not big on her either. So, yeah, this is kind of like you put Bayley, who I really like, Charlotte, who I'm lukewarm on, and the two women on the Divas division I do not like at all in a match. So it's kind of like, yay when Bayley's in the ring, and yay, no more for the rest of it. So, let's talk about the match, shall we? So, Oksana locks on a modified Kata Hajime, which, for those of you that don't know technical names of moves, which I should probably tell you guys right now, via the fact that I was a former commentator, I use a lot of technical names and a lot of technical terminology. So, if something is a little bit foreign to you, then you can either A, leave a comment on the bottom and ask me what I'm talking about, or B, just sit back, because there's a good chance I'll probably explain it. And a lot of you have been with me since I started these elongated WWE and TNA recaps, so you know how I work, and you know what spots are going to go, and you know my names for moves that other people don't use, and I know other people are stealing. I'm looking at you, Michael Cole. So, hi. So, that's what we got from there. So, Oksana with a modified Kata Hajime, and Bayley elbows out and chokes her in the corner. Does Oksana with a foot choke in the throat, and Bayley locks in a hug, and she basically hugs her and belly-to-bellies her. It's kind of like Al Snow's trapped suplex. Like, it's what it is, his trapped headbutts when he sets up, and then he headbutts people, which actually you see later on the show, kind of strange. And Bayley nails her with a belly-to-belly out of it. Tag into Alicia Fox. Hot tag into Charlotte. And Charlotte rolls Fox up with a bridge. 1-2 and a kick out. Goes up top. She gets caught by Alicia Fox. And she gets rocket launched. And, of course, she rolls through it and lands on her feet. Nails a clothesline. 1-2 and a kick out. Goes for the Firewoman's carry. And blind tag from Bayley. And Bayley comes in. Fox with a whip in and charges in, kicks Oksana off the ring apron, and Bayley rolls her up in a schoolgirl 1-2-3. Yeah, really disjointed match, honestly, between these four. Like I said, I don't like Oksana or Alicia Fox. I really don't at all. I don't like them in the ring. Alicia Fox is really nice to look at, but she's not the greatest in the ring, and that scissor kick has been devastating in more ways than one. It didn't get broke out in this match, though. Oksana is not good, but I guess that's how it works. She's the seductress. I guess you would say that would be her gimmick, and I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. Charlotte, like I said, is taking a long time to grow on me, and it might happen eventually, but I don't know. It just kind of depends. Bayley, I really like a lot, and I really think Bayley is awesome in the ring, and I like her character, so I was very happy to see her open up NXT. So we get Sylvester Lafort backstage, and he is talking to his main charge, Scott Dawson, and bringing in his brand new member of the Legionnaires, Alexander Rusev. So basically, Rusev is being brought in to get them revenge on Mason Ryan, who made them look like a fool the last week on NXT. So Rusev is asked what he's going to do, what his plans to do to Mason Ryan. He brandishes another board with Mason emblazoned across it, and he breaks it over his knee. So, yeah. That's the segment. That's it. We get our next match of the evening, and it is by virtue of what happened last week when Rick Victor and Connor O'Brien of the Ascension just jumped Corey Graves from behind, left him laying, and Victor took the NXT Tag Team Championship hostage, basically. So he came out with it when he came out with Connor O'Brien to start this match. And of course, Corey Graves was flanked with his NXT Tag Team Championship partner, Adrian Neville, who had his tag team title belt. So, Rick Victor with vicious stomps in the corner, and he tears off the protective rib tape on Corey Graves' midsection, and he kicks him, well-placed kick right in the ribs. Chop, uppercut, really nice chop, uppercut combination, and fireman's carry into the gutbuster, makes a cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So he drives the knee into the ribs, and he pushes the kneecap right against the ribs. And then he locks on a chin lock with the knee between the bottom of the lower back, kind of like right in between the lower back, like the point of the kneecap in the lower back. Locks in a chin lock, kind of a modified camel clutch, but not quite. And then Victor adds insult to injury by dive bombing the back, which, if you don't know what dive bombing is, he basically just leaps up in the air and drops all his weight on the lower back. So he nails a leaping elbow drop into the back, 1-2, and a kick out. He charges in, he catches the boot gets caught, and a back elbow, two big right hands, Graves nails him with a leaping knee strike, short arm into the STO, which looked awesome by the way, and a fist drop off the ropes to the back of the head. This allows for Connor O'Brien to get up on the ring apron to call for the distraction. Adrian Neville runs in, drop kicks him off the ring apron, nails him with a pescado. And while this is going on, there's a boot in the midsection by Rick Victor, trying to finish off Corey Graves once and for all with a fireman's carry. And it looks like he's going to go for the gutbuster again. And he gets countered into an inside cradle, 1-2-3. So Corey Graves wins this singles matchup between the Tag Team Champions and the Ascension. So, still building towards the Ascension and Graves and Neville for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I think it's going to happen in the next couple episodes. I would say without any doubt, without any thinking whatsoever, that the Ascension will be NXT Tag Team Champions before 2013 is over with. I actually think they will be NXT Tag Team Champions before November. Yeah, that's 2 months. So, before the end of November. There we go. I covered my bases there. Either way, before 2013 is over, you're going to see O'Brien and Victor as NXT Tag Team Champions. And that's a smart thing to do. Smart booking to have the baby faces chase the heels. It makes sense. And who knows, maybe someday Cassius Ohno will come out of his funk he's in right now, and he will end up going after Tag Team Gold as well. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. All signs point to no. It's sad because WWE's not really high on Ohno right now, given the fact that he doesn't really take his physique seriously enough for their taste. So they took him out of the intro, and he's jobbing on NXT house shows. He's not even on the television program, even in a jobbing role. And he used to be a top priority for NXT shows, but now, not so much. When Ohno got knocked off by the Wyatt family, he hasn't returned. And, of course, Neville picked up a new tag team partner in Corey Graves, who was feuding with Cassius Ohno on the shows before his untimely exit from televised competition. There's an interesting way to put that. So, last week we had a little bit of an indication that Summer Rae is trying to force Sasha Banks to turn heel. Well, she does it again. Sasha is doing her makeup, and Summer Rae shows up and basically is trying to get into her head and trying to tell her that this could make or break her, and you got to put the spotlight on you. Why don't you just take Paige out? She calls herself an anti-diva. Does that mean she's anti-anything that the divas are all about? I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered there, of course. She basically says that this match could make her relevant. Paige thinks she's better than us. Next week, why don't you just go ahead and give her the beatdown of her entire life? I know you have that inner rage inside you, Sasha. Do you know you have it? So yeah, we're building towards that, and of course Paige and Sasha Banks is going to be next week on NXT, which will be the last NXT I will recap before I go to Florida. So yay, it's going to be awesome. So basically, we come back from a commercial and, or in my case, fast forward through clips, because obviously there's no commercials if I'm watching it online. And Renee Young is backstage with the current NXT Women's Champion, Paige. And Paige pretty much just doesn't sweat anything at all. She doesn't care what Summer Rae is about, and she doesn't care about Sasha Banks. She doesn't care about anything, really. She's really trying to make people understand what the term anti-diva means. It means she's not a cover girl. Sure, she covers girls for victories, which, yeah, I didn't like that line, but that's just me. Actually, it reminds me of, has a weird comparison. It reminds me of Artie Lang's movie, Beer League. Yeah, very strange comparison. I'm not going into it, because I'm not using that terminology there. So, basically, we're building towards the fact that Paige will face any and all comers, and Sasha needs to talk to Summer Rae and find out what it's like to get beat by her, which is exactly what's going to happen next week. New women's champion? No way. Sasha going heel? Very well could happen. Either way. Interesting, a lot more interesting than some of the wrestling that you get from the women on televised wrestling. I love the Knockouts division and Impact. The Divas division in the WWE, it's kind of, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. It's kind of like topsy-turvy. I guess that's the word I want to look for here. I love what they're doing with it. I'll talk about it later on the show, when we talk about Smackdown in just a few minutes. I love what they're doing with AJ. I like how she is the scourge of the division, and she's trying to ban the WWE Divas, the other WWE Divas, against the Total Divas cast. So basically it makes the Bellas, the Funkadactyls, Eva Marie, JoJo, and Natty all out to be pariahs because they are not, they're not wrestlers. Natty on line one. They're just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame with this reality show because they couldn't be real actresses. So yeah, this storyline continues, and there's always that. So, I mentioned a while back that I forecast Enzo Amore and Big Colin Cassidy going babyface and helping Mason Ryan vanquish Sylvester Laforte's Legionnaires. What I think ended up happening, excuse me, is you're going to get Mason Ryan. He's going to get jumped like he did at the end of this match, but I'll talk about that in a second. So, we'll go to the match. It's Alexander Rusev against Mason Ryan, and Rusev with some trapped headbutts, which I talked about earlier on with the hug from Bayley earlier. He actually does the Al Snow trapped headbutts. Short arm, into the Vader attack, 1-2 and a kick out. Charges in with a splash. Leaps too high, nails the forehead on the ring post. Mason goes for the Goozle, going for the choke slam. Rusev punches out. Whip in, big right hand, another big right hand, charging clothesline, whip in, charging clothesline into the buckle. Mason Ryan has the match fully in control. He comes off the ropes, big boot. Scott Dawson gets on the apron, and he gets beeled into the ring the hard way. Clotheslined over the top rope to the floor. This distraction allows for Sylvester Laforte to get on the ring apron. That distraction allows for a charge into a hip check. Locks on the camel clutch, does Rusev, and gets the submission. Okay. Here's what I think will happen. You do Rusev and Dawson, and they work over Mason Ryan. Well, Enzo and Cass come out and make the save. Well, you do the tag match. And the tag match ends up being the return of Garrett Dillon, who I know has been working a lot of NXT house shows. So we have D Squared and Alexander Rusev against Enzo Amore, Big Colin Cassidy, and Mason Ryan. And that is a feud that'll get us a couple of months, maybe. I'd say maybe at least a month of action. So that's what I would do, personally. Here's something interesting that's never really talked about. Leo Kruger is standing in the back and he's laughing. And when we pan down, we see what he's laughing at. The camera showcases Xavier Woods holding the the back of his neck. And we don't know what Leo Kruger did to him, but he's quite proud of himself. So yeah, I'd say we get a match between those two very soon. And that's good, because I like Xavier Woods. I really like Leo Kruger. I think they're both awesome. And these will be good matches. We get our main event in the evening. Sami Zayn taking on the other half of Zev's Militia, the Real Americans, Jack Swagger. So Swagger with a chin lock, and Zayn punches his way out. He comes off the ropes, gets caught, overhead belly-to-belly suplex, 1-2, and a kick out. He tosses him on the ring apron, and he catches him with his shoulder. He drags him back in, kind of like he's going for the snakebite DDT, and that's even called by Alex Riley. I'll give him that credit. Snap suplex, and he drives the knee into the corner. Short arm clothesline, spins him like a top. So he chokes him with the knee. Zayn's in serious trouble right now. He gets double chicken wing by Swagger. So Zayn punches his way out. He comes off, and he gets caught with a knee that breaks the momentum. Swagger charges in, and he low bridges him, sending him over the top rope to the floor. He nails him with a tope con hilo, rolls him back in, goes up top, and nails a huge flying body press, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the Olay kick. It gets caught, turned around into the takedown, countered into a sunset flip, 1-2, and a kick out. So he ducks the clothesline, picks him up, Swagger takes him down again, plants him, 1-2, and a kick out. Puts him in the over-the-shoulder power slam, rams him into the turnbuckle. Looks like he's going for Oklahoma Stampede. And what happens is he gets countered. Waistlock from behind. Reverse Blue Thunder driver. 1-2 and a kick out. So he picks the leg. Locks on the Patriot lock. And he flips out of it. Into the gut wrench powerbomb. 1-2 and barely Sami Zayn kicks out. So he locks the Patriot lock on in the center of the ring. And Zayn valiantly and gallantly makes it to the ropes right in the nick of time before he has to tap out. Swagger goes for the Swagger bomb, and Zayn gets both feet up in the face. Nails the O-leg kick, makes the cover, hooks the leg, 1, 2, and no! Swagger kicks out right at 3. So he goes up top, he gets crotched. He goes up for the overhead belly-to-belly superplex, and he gets countered. Reverse, sunset flip powerbomb off the top, 1, 2, and a kick out. This brings out the NXT champion, Bo Dallas, to the delight of the Full Sail University crowd. This allows for a distraction, and he gets ankle picked, locked into the Patriot lock, and Sami Zayn taps out. Great main event. And Sami Zayn has had consistently great main events against both members of the Real Americans. They were amazing matches. So next week we've got Paige and Sasha Banks. And, of course, we're keep building and keep building and keep building towards this match we're going to get with Sami Zayn and Bo Dallas down the road. I know that's going to happen sooner rather than later. And, of course, we're leading towards the NXT Tag Team title match with Corey Graves and Adrian Neville defending against the Ascension. And, of course, you have so many other storylines. You have the New Legionnaires with Sylvester LaForte bringing out Scott Dawson and Alexander Rusev, which I think brings Garrett Dillon back. And then you have Enzo Amore and Big Colin Cassidy are not on the show at all. They are probably going to be the ones that save Mason Ryan, and that's going to end up being a 6-man somewhere down the road too. I think that's where we're going. So that was NXT, a very entertaining show, and I look forward to next week, as I always do. And if you don't watch NXT, you're missing out, folks. If you are living in the Orlando area, you can check it out on Bright House Cable. Otherwise, there's a really easy option. It's now available on Hulu. It was available on Hulu Plus. Now it's available on regular Hulu. All episodes of NXT are available on Hulu. Or you can do what I do and check it out on Dailymotion or YouTube. Because obviously I'm a supporter of YouTube because I'm a maker of YouTube content. So I have to put over the company. So there you go. So that was NXT, and we're going to roll right into SmackDown. SmackDown's going to start with the Town Hall address from the Best Thing for Business. plus Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox, who are the SmackDown and Raw general managers, respectively. So, they're all in the ring, and of course the Shield's guarding the ringside area, and interestingly enough, this time they're not having the titles over their shoulders like usual. They're all actually wearing their respective championships. Ambrose is wearing the U.S. Championship, and Rollins and Reigns are wearing the Tag Team Championships. So, Triple H is standing in the middle ring, and every superstar in the WWE, of course, like save the Wyatt family and Daniel Bryan, they're all standing on the ramp, and they're waiting for this town hall address. Triple H pretty much just backs up why he fired Cody Rhodes. He said Cody was insubordinate, and he was disrespectful to the COO. And as the COO, wow, I put too many O's in there. As the COO, Triple H is the WWE. That's interesting. He won't stand for it. He failed. Cody failed. I didn't fire Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes fired Cody Rhodes. I haven't heard this before. Wow, Triple H really is Vince McMahon Jr. And I didn't think that was possible. I guess Jr. wouldn't be the right version of it. I'd probably say he's like the new age Vince McMahon, I guess what we'll say. This here is an open forum. I don't want you guys and girls out there to fear for your jobs. I just want you to ask questions, and I want you to make statements without any fear of any repercussion. I can only work for you if you work for me and you tell me what's wrong. Tell me how exactly you feel. We can only grow with honesty. So Damien Sandow was the first one to speak up, and he says, I fully support the termination of Cody Rhodes, and everything being the best thing for business. I commend you, Hunter. So Triple H is like, thank you, Mr. Sandow, but don't think I'm looking for butt kissing. And he's like, anybody else? And he's like, Alicia Fox? And she's like, doesn't say anything. He's like, no. He's like, Kofi Kingston steps up. He speaks honestly. Ever since you fired Cody, the roster lives in fear. You took Cody's livelihood. That wasn't the right thing to do. So Heath Slater interrupts, and he says, you know what? I'm uncomfortable with a big giant just watching everything go on. You're doing a great job. And then, of course, Hunter says, yeah, thanks for emptying the entire content of your mind. Rob Van Dam's the next one to speak. He says, you brought me back. I thought things would be better now. This whole vibe, dude, just not feeling it. And Triple H basically says, I've waited so long for Rob Van Dam to call me dude. Rob, I still have faith in you. You're a true superstar. Ryback speaks up. He's like, I'm sick and tired of everyone calling me a bully. Triple H, like, it's not your fault Dolph Ziggler was injured when he got to the ring. So tonight I'm going to rectify that. I'm going to give you a fair shake. Tonight, you're going to go one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler. So, conspicuous by his absence is Daniel Bryan, who's not on the stage. And to me, that shows his further ego problems. The problem is he's just simply out of control. Tonight, I'm going to give Daniel Bryan a match against any one member of the Shield. This has been very helpful. This has been very cathartic. Kofi spoke up, so you know what? I'm going to reward you. Tonight, you're going to face Curtis Axel in a non-title match. And then Rob Van Dam, you're going to face off against the face of the WWE, Randy Orton. He brings Orton out, and you would think that would be the opening match, and that's pretty much what it was supposed to be, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So the opening contest, non-title match, WWE Champion Randy Orton taking on Rob Van Dam. So we go midway through the match like we do here on Pop. Rolling Thunder, and he gets caught. Snap Power Slam, 1-2, and a kick out. So he stomps Van Dam in the back of the head. Whip in, Van Dam flips over, lands on his feet, nails a spin kick, 1-2, and a kick out. 3 shoulder blocks in the midsection, and he charges in for the 4th, and Orton gets the knee up. High knee lift, and he pounds away at the chest of Rob Van Dam. He stomps him in, 1-2, and a kick out. Whip in, he charges, gets the boot up. He goes up top, split-legged moonsault, 1-2, and a kick out. So Orton goes to the floor to regroup and break Van Dam's momentum. Very smart move. Boot in, suplex, blocks, suplex across the barricade. And he was front suplex across the barricade, so he's teetering across the barricade. Van Dam goes to the apron, points to himself like he always does, goes for the corkscrew leg drop, Orton out of the way, and Van Dam catches nothing but the barricade. tosses him in, stomps him, and then he goes for the Garvin Stomp. He comes off the ropes. Orton catches him with a big drop kick, tosses Van Dam to the floor. We get back to live action. Chinlock. Van Dam elbows his way out. Whip in. Charges in. Back elbow. Van Dam with a clothesline. And then another clothesline. Standing side kick. And then standing moonsault. 1-2 and a kick out. So he charges in with a wheel kick in the corner. Whip in. Somersault on the middle rope. Orton kicks him off the buckle. And 1-2 and a kick out. Nails the 3.0 backbreaker. Goes for the snake bite. Goes for the RKO. Gets countered. Body scissors roll up. 1-2 and a kick out. Van Dam goes to the top rope. Standing side kick off the top. Rolling Thunder goes up top. 5-star frog splash. He misses. Van Dam's momentum carries him all the way to the floor. And Orton comes out. Tosses him back in. Van Dam with a wheel kick. Del Rio comes out at this point. He's at ringside doing commentary. So he comes out to ringside at this point. And he tosses Ricardo Rodriguez into the post. Van Dam nails him with a tope con hilo on the floor. Orton comes in, tosses Van Dam hard into the table, like the side of the table. And then he tosses him back in, but not into the ring. He tosses him back in halfway and snakebite DDTs him on the ground. Rolls him back in. RKO, 1-2-3, and after the match is over, Alberto Del Rio puts the boots to the challenger to the World Heavyweight Championship, locks on the cross-arm breaker, and that's the end of this segment. Great match to kick off the show. Great chemistry between Randy Orton and Rob Van Dam. Excellent match. I very much enjoyed the false finishes in the match. I very much enjoyed how the match flowed. I enjoy Van Dam's hope spots. And I enjoyed the way the finish went down. I liked the inclusion of Alberto Del Rio getting involved because it sets up their match at Night of Champions on Sunday night, a week from tomorrow. So, which I will be recapping for this channel. Probably on Monday because Sunday it looks like we're going to Athens, unless we go Saturday, but we'll figure that out when we get there. So, basically, we get our next segment. Daniel Bryan backstage with Renee Young, and the reason Daniel Bryan didn't show up is because management told him not to. Told him he wasn't even invited. He basically said his ego means that he wants to be the WWE champion. The Shield can decide themselves who they want to face Daniel Bryan tonight. Who wants to get beat up first? Because, of course, when it's the Shield, he's going to face all three of them anyway, so they can make the decision. Daniel Bryan can beat any of them like he can beat Randy Orton. So, like I mentioned in the NXT recap a few minutes ago, AJ pretty much is trying to get the other members of the Divas roster on the same page. Layla, obviously, one of her BFFs, as well as Oksana and Alicia Fox. And basically saying that, I'd much rather defend the Divas Championship against you than any of these total diva wannabes. They think they're better than us. Oh, I have an idea. Well, it's funny because the segue for I Have an Idea is interrupted by the theme music of Dolph Ziggler. It's the little things sometimes, folks. Dolph taking on Ryback in our next match of the evening. So we go back to middle through the match and bear hug by Ryback, and he drops it down into a pinfall, 1-2, and a kick out. Picks up Ziggler and locks the bear hug on tight. He punches his way out, and then he elbows him in the back of the head, and he grabs the neck, and he leaps up in the air and DDTs Ryback. He charges in, does Ryback, he goes shoulder first into the ring post. Dolph with a big splash in the corner, goes up top, 10 punch, reverse neck breaker, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the name dropper. Ryback ducks out of the way. He slides through the legs of Ryback, nails the name dropper, 1-2, and a kick out. Whip in, reverse, and a big shoulder block. Dolph goes to the floor. So he charges in. Ryback goes shoulder first into the ring steps. So Dean Ambrose is on commentary for this match, and he looks at Ambrose and he chases him around the announce table. And Ambrose slides in the ring. Before he slides into the ring, Ryback catches him with the meat hook and pretty much just lays Dolph out. He picks up his unconscious body, tosses him into the ring like he's yesterday's garbage, picks him up, shell shock, 1-2-3. So the match that I talked about several weeks ago is finally official. Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose for the United States Championship next week at Night of Champions. So we get our next match of the evening, another really awesome match. Kofi Kingston taking on the Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel in a non-title match. So Axel got a huge pop in this match. Why? Because we're at the Target Center. We're in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is down the road from where the Hennig family was born, obviously, where Curtis Axel grew up. I mean, Joe Hennig grew up, and of course, his dad, my favorite wrestler of all time, the late, great Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, and of course, JBL, God bless him, bringing him up on commentary every 5 seconds. This is the reason why Axel got such a big pop in this match. And there was a lot of, like, dueling chants. Like, a lot of people would be totally into Kofi, were definitely into Axel in this match. So, let's talk about it. So, Axel gets caught with a drop kick. Axel goes to the floor to regroup a bit. So, Kofi goes for a baseball slide. Axel sidesteps him, gut shot, and whips him hard into the ring steps. Which would have happened if Kofi didn't leap over the ring steps, change his momentum, leap, spring off the ring steps, nail clothesline on the Intercontinental Champion on the floor. Toss him back in, and shoulder knocks him off the ring apron, does Curtis Axel. So, a chin lock, and Kofi elbows his way out. Whip in, short arm, ducks the clothesline, and the club to the back of the neck to a nice pop from the crowd. 1-2, and a kick out. Scoop slam, second turnbuckle on the inside with the elbow, gets countered, puts the boots up, and the double chop, and then the double chop again, then the standing drop kick, and the leaping clothesline gets countered with a nice drop kick. 1-2, and a kick out. So he whips in, he charges in, gets the boot up, double springboard, he gets crotched, and he pounds the chest away. He goes for the hatchet, it gets countered into the SOS, and 1-2-3. Kofi Kingston wins a non-title match against the Intercontinental Champion. This is good, because this builds a feud for Curtis Axel, a title feud for Curtis Axel after the Punk storyline finishes at Night of Champions next week. So I think Axel's time as Intercontinental Champion is rather limited, to say the least. Our next match of the evening is Brie Bella against Naomi of the Funkadactyls. So Brie with a charging knee into the face, locks on the modified Cobra Clutch Shinamaki, and elbow, snapmare, and 2 drop kicks, ducks the clothesline, a nice somersault clothesline off the ropes by Naomi, and high kick, and they both go to the outside of the floor. AJ, Alicia Fox, and Oksana, and Layla all hit the ring, and they just jump them, leave them laying, and that's pretty much the end right there. So, yeah, Layla with a high kick on Brie Bella, and AJ gets on the mic and says, "Ladies and nerds, your WWE Divas Champion, AJ Lee." Setting up another match that I called weeks ago, the Fatal 4-Way for the Divas Championship between Natalya, Brie Bella, Naomi, and AJ Lee at Night of Champions. So that's what's setting that up. So we get our next match. It is the Usos taking on the Real Americans. So yeah, this was actually a good show, a good 2 shows for Cesaro and Swagger, because they won both of their matches. How appropriate. So I like this finish. He goes for a Swagger bomb and tags in Cesaro. Cesaro leapfrogs over Swagger and double boot stomp. Tags Swagger, modified into a double Uranagi and double chicken wing. He headbutts, back elbow, backdrop over the top rope to the floor, tag in Swagger. Jay hip tosses Cesaro over the top rope to the floor. Tope on Cesaro. He goes up top, big shoulder block, 1-2, and a kick out. So Swagger makes a save, and there is the standing sidekick on Swagger, and Cradle 1-2 and a kick out. Goes for the Savate kick again. Samoan Splash does miss, and he hits the barricade because he changed momentum. Instead of diving off at Cesaro, he dove off at Swagger. Swagger sidesteps him, and he goes right first into the barricade. This prompts him, the other Uso, to dive off into the Swiss Death, the nice European uppercut, and Swiss uppercut in this case, 1-2-3. So yeah. Triple H says in the back that he realizes the Big Show needs to get off some steam. So why don't you go out there and you can treat 3-man band like human stress balls. That's exactly what he does. Our next match is the handicap match, 3-man band against the Big Show. So basically, Show harpoons Drew McIntyre on the floor, and a running knee pretty much just takes him out right there. He tosses Jinder Mahal in, tosses Drew McIntyre in. Double choke slam on the both of them. Heath gets up to his feet, and WMD 1-2-3. Now, what I didn't tell you is before this happens, Slater goes for a kick. at the beginning of the match. Big Show takes his elbow and drives it into the knee, pretty much just taking him out of the entire match. And Slater, on one foot, took the WMD, and that was the end of the match. So, let's talk main event. Daniel Bryan taking on a member of the Shield. So the Shield get in the ring, Bryan's in the ring, and you see Roman Reigns step up. And of course, as we know, this is just a simple distraction as Seth Rollins jumps in from behind. So it's going to be Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, wow, long day, Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan in the main event for SmackDown. So whip in reverse, knee lift on Seth, and he goes for the yes kicks, and he picks him up, headbutt, whip in, and he goes for a high kick. He ducks under, clothesline over the top rope to the floor. So he tosses him back in with a knee, and this was a really interesting move from Rollins. He picks up Bryan, and he body slams him over the top rope to the floor. So he tosses him back in, he charges in with a kick to the head, and he rolls him back in, 1-2, and a kick out. So Shinamaki and Bryan punches his way out. They trade forearms, and he gets cut off with a knee lift. And he gets nailed with a huge release German suplex. Goes for the charging drop kick, and he nails it in the corner. Goes up top, missile drop kick, 1-2, and a kick out. The yes kicks, goes for the buzzsaw, gets ducked, and he shoves him to the ring apron. He goes up top, gets caught, and a leaping back kick sends Bryan to the floor. Reigns, behind the referee's back, nails a leaping clothesline, tossing him into the steps. So he tosses him in, goes up top, gets countered into the yes lock. So he drop kicks Reigns, and he drop kicks Ambrose, whip in, ducks the clothesline, tope on Roman Reigns, and he hip tosses Ambrose on the floor, and when he gets back in the ring, Rollins gets up to his feet, gets nailed with the Psycho knee, 1-2-3. So Bryan is celebrating, and of course, as always, the last several weeks, I can probably just end this right now and just say, finish from last week, but different. Randy Orton nails him from behind and stands over Bryan with the WWE Championship above his head. Yeah. So again, Daniel Bryan still has no shine, and I think that you will have to have Bryan get something over on what's best for business this week on Monday's Raw. It has to happen. We're in Toronto. Toronto is a place that likes to cheer the heels and boo the baby faces. So I still think it doesn't matter. I still think Daniel Bryan's going to get a tremendous crowd reaction like he always does. So it will be interesting to see what happens with that. So Night of Champions is a week away. And of course, we've got Raw on Monday night. We've got SmackDown and NXT on Saturday. Then we've got Night of Champions on Sunday. And then, of course, we've got one more Raw on Monday. And then after that, I'm out. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. So really interesting time in WWE right now. And hopefully Bryan's going to get some shine this week. He needs to. I mean, obviously he needs to. You keep building, you keep building, you keep building with having the heels get over every single week. Every single week, every single week. I know people that are getting tired of it. I understand it's a very, 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 very slow burn. But you have to have the babyface get something over. Regardless what it is, regardless how small it is. And there's pretty much a reason to say, there's an argument that Rollins losing to Bryan is getting something over. But he still got jumped by Randy Orton at the end. He has to get over on what's best for business before I leave, to be totally honest, before Night of Champions, to make anybody believe he has a chance in hell of getting the WWE Championship back. Because right now, even knowing what I know, which is nothing, Bryan is losing at Night of Champions. Bryan is not getting the championship back until later in the year. But that's just how it works. It's best to have the babyface chase, and that's exactly what we're going through right now. So, another edition of NXT and SmackDown recap is in the books, and we will be talking wrestling again in 2 days on WWE Monday Night Raw. If you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and if you want to become part of this Popcaster revolution here on Pop, You can send your emails to SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to. It's at SirOwenDisney. Or if you want to find me on Facebook and friend me, it's Owen Disney. So in the meantime, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that. Again, I missed the button. Feel like an idiot. Take two. That's all I got to say about that.